Hey. All right, so we're going to talk about how to handle a difficult seller or how to handle a grumpy seller. Sometimes you could call these sellers less than excited. All right, but these are going to be sellers who don't really want to just tell you how much they owe on the house. Or maybe it's a seller who feels like it's their personal business how much their monthly mortgage payment is. Or maybe it's a seller who is just kind of asking you a bunch of questions when you need to be asking them a bunch of questions. All right? It's a seller that has their guard up. How do we handle these kinds of sellers? And let me tell you, ladies, those sellers are out there. And they're mostly men, in my experience, okay? So how do I handle some old dude who's not telling me everything that I need to know so that I can make 3 offers to buy his house? The first thing you got to do is fluff him up a little bit. I don't know if you know this, but men like to have their ego stroked. And there's ways that you can do this on the phone with the seller before you ever go meet with them. And this comes into a little bit of psychology. This comes into a little bit of using your dating skills. And this comes into you being a strong lady, but also letting him feel like he's in control of this situation. Does that make sense? If you've ever negotiated where you want to go to dinner with your husband and won, you should know exactly what I'm saying, because that is the same skill we're going to use with stubborn, grumpy, hungry sellers. Okay? So when I say fluff them up, I know that if I want my husband to hang the bird feeder in the backyard for me, and I know exactly which tree I want it on, and I know exactly how high I want it, if I just tell him, there's no way the birds are going to get fed this summer. There's no way. Because it feels like I am barking an order at him. And whether I am or not, maybe a little bit, I know there's another way to motivate my husband to want to do what I want, the way I want it, and where I want it, on which tree, right? And it's not sexual. It's all about fluffing him up. It's all about holding the conversation in a place away from the tree I want the bird feeder hung up on, right? And it's all about getting him involved in the process of deciding which tree we should hang the bird feeder on and how tall we should hang it, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly how to get your husband to do what you want him to do. And it has nothing to do with being direct most of the time. Sometimes when you are direct with him is exactly what he needs. But in this case, that's not what we need. Okay? So how do we turn that around and fluff up a seller to let them warm up to our idea of buying this house on payments? Or how do we get this seller to warm up to the idea of telling us exactly what's wrong with the property? And that's by fluffing them up again. All right. A lot of times you're on the phone with a seller and they're going on and on and on about the house has 4 bedrooms and it's 3 baths and it's on a half-acre lot, and he fixed the back porch last year and he's replaced the toilet in the second bathroom 4 times and he doesn't know why it keeps leaking, but blah, 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 blah. Okay. So he's giving you the nuts and bolts of the house on this call. That's great. I want you to fluff him up a little bit and say, hey, Do you have any pictures of the back porch that you redid? Tell me about that. How long did it take you? Tell me about the process. Tell me about designing it. Tell me about the problems you had. And remember, ladies, it sounds like we're talking about the back porch, but probably whatever problems this dude came up upon, whatever part of this project he found fun, that's what he's going to experience in the sale of this house. All right. So if he goes on and on and on about how it took him 18 months to plan it, and it took him another 4 months to buy the lumber, and it took him 16 hours to figure out which screw to use, he's going to take 18 months to sell that house. But if he says he did the back porch in a weekend, it was really easy, he's done this before, all he had to do is go to Lowe's and get this and this and this, his buddy came over, they drank a 6-pack, they redid the porch, which is not what you're supposed to do, just so we're clear. But if he says he was in and out and he did it in a weekend, this is a dude that's going to make quick decisions and going to allow you to work quickly to buy his house. All right? So it sounds like we're asking a lot of unnecessary questions. But it's also that he probably wants to tell you the process that he went through to redo the deck on the back porch. He probably tried to tell his wife and she didn't care. You care. Trust me. You want to hear that whole story because that's going to be a preview of how this house purchase is going to go for you. And when you listen and he tells a little joke and you laugh, that's the second step. That's how you fluff up a guy on the phone. That's how you fluff up a seller on the phone. You let them know that you're a person. You let them know that they're entertaining you. You let them know that you are truly interested in their process, in their story. And you let them know that this is a two-way conversation. So many sellers are so used to having one-sided conversations that a lot of times that's why they quit trying to sell their house. When you are respectful on the phone and when you're open to receiving lots of information on the phone with these sellers, which trust me, you want to get all this out on the phone so that you're not stuck at the house with them for like an hour and a half. This is good legwork to be done on the phone. But when you laugh, when they tell you a funny story, and whether it was about the back porch or whether it was about that time they came home with a goat in their car, I've heard that story too, and you laugh and you let them know that you're a person and they can let you know that they're a person and not just a house for sale, it fluffs up their ego. I promise. And this goes back to what I was saying on a previous video. It's not about the house. It's about the relationship that you're setting up. And when you're talking to these grumpy old guys who are used to having one-way conversations and used to just spitting out information and people saying they're going to call back and they never call back and then he gets disappointed, when you actually start talking to him like a real person, like somebody who is interested in him, not just in his property and trying to make a profit off his property, you become the number one buyer regardless of your offers. You have to fluff them up a little bit. You have to listen to their stories. You have to laugh at their corny jokes. You have to let them know that you can help them get rid of this problem. You have to let them know that you're here to help them. That's the best way to fluff up a seller. That's the best way I know to fluff up a guy. If you can, this is the secret step number 3. All right? Talk to them, listen to their stories, laugh at their jokes. If you can get on the phone and you can have a conversation, you can laugh and you can break the ice, I promise your appointment is going to go 1,000,000 times better. But then the secret third step on the phone with the seller is to talk about food. My mama told me when I was a little girl that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And when we're on the phone, we can't exactly just whip up some cookies or whip up some meatloaf and mashed potatoes. But we can talk about food. So, how do we do this on the conversation? Well, when we're talking and when he's telling us about its 4 bedrooms and 3 baths and he redid the back porch and he replaced the toilet 4 times, when he's telling us all of that, this is a great segue into, oh my gosh, I would love to see pictures of the back porch. Did you have a grill out there? Because every man I know is a grill master. Whether they are or not, it doesn't matter. They love to talk about it. They love to feel like that's their contribution to the family. And where does grilling take place? On the back porch, which is probably why he took a weekend out of his life to make his domain good. All right? Ask him what did he grill on the back porch. Ask him if they had a patio on the back porch. Ask him if they played cornhole in the yard down below the back porch. Ask him, about what happened on the back porch. Was this house his mom's house and he redid the back porch because her dining room wasn't big enough and she always had people over at Easter and there needed to be extra place for people to sit? Is that why he did the back porch? Which also goes back to eating, right? And then you can say, so what did your mom make you? What was your favorite thing? What was the deal? So you start talking about food. I know. It's not exactly the traditional real estate conversation, but I'm not exactly the traditional real estate investor either, These conversations are going to be what gets you the deal. Using your natural, ladylike appearance and conversation skills and things that your mom has been telling you about since you were a little girl, that's what's going to get you the actual deals. Because I've never bought a house from somebody that I didn't have some sort of relationship with. I knew things about them that they probably hadn't told their best friend. They knew things about me that everybody else doesn't know. We had a relationship. We had a friendship. We had a business partnership. And ladies, we make the best real estate investors because this comes so natural to all of us. We are born communicators. We love to make everybody feel warm and welcome when they're in our circle. When you're on the phone with them, when you're face-to-face talking to them, it doesn't matter. You're setting up a relationship. And let me tell you, because I spoke about old men in this video, being your seller. It works the same with old ladies too. Old women remember things about the house. They remember when so-and-so redid the porch, and they know that the toilet in the second bedroom's been replaced 4 times, and there's probably some toy down the pipe, and this, that, and the other. It's the same conversation. Little old ladies who are selling houses also want to know that you are a person on the other end of the phone. They want to know that they're not just talking to a wall or talking to a door. They want to know that this is building up a relationship. Lots of old people will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk because nobody else will listen to them. What if you were the one investor who took the time, the extra 10 or 15 minutes, to laugh at their jokes, listen to their stories, and get their mind off the actual real estate and into their heart through their stomach? That's how you deal with a grumpy seller. That's how you deal with a stubborn seller. You redirect the conversation to something about the house, to a memory that they have about the house. You redirect the conversation to where they're telling you a funny story, or you redirect the conversation to talk about food. All of that helps you build a relationship with a grumpy seller until they're more like pudding in your hand than a grumpy seller. So those are my 3 tips. Talk to them about stories about the house, what's going on with the house. Find out what they've done, what they remember, what their memories are of the house. And not all of them, but like just go with the first one that comes up. And then laugh at their jokes. They're going to make some. And they love to know that there's a human on the other end and that their joke didn't just die out there in the air. And number 3, talk about food. We all connect over food. The way to anybody's heart, not just men, is through their belly. That's why we eat 3 times a day. So those 3 things should help you get the conversations rocking and rolling with sellers. If you have any other questions, I've got another video coming up talking more about sellers, because my name is Whitney Nicely. I'm the broker for Whitney Buys Houses, but I buy houses. I don't list them. I don't flip them. I don't rent them either. I do lots of fun things and I make a ton of money, and I would love to teach you how to do this too. If you want to know more about it, I have a program called First Deal Done Fast. I said that too fast, didn't I? First Deal Done Fast, where I help you get your first deal done fast. If you're already in real estate though, I'll help you get your next deal done fast. But the program is still called First Deal Done Fast because it's your first deal with Whitney. If you want to know more information about that though, go to firstdealdonefast.com. Or there's maybe a link down there. If I said anything in this video that confused you, or if I made you laugh, please let me know in the comments, okay? Down below, there's a section for comments, and I answer all the comments that come in on every video. I do that myself. So drop me a comment. Let me know either what confused you or that I made you laugh in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends. And also, if you have a topic that you want me to cover, drop that down in the comments too, and I'll be glad to do a little how-to video for you. Otherwise, if you're ready to get started and get your deals done, go to firstdealdonefast.com. Bye, y'all.